Hi, my name is Dragan from AppAwards. I'm here today with Scott Frederick, Chief Operating Officer at StatSheet. As you may know, AppAwards gives AppAwards to the most promising applications in the world. Today I'm happy to announce that the winner of this award for the sport category is StatSheet. Mr. Frederick, congratulations to you and your team.
Well, thank you very much. We're thrilled to receive the award. Thanks to AppAwards.
We're happy to give it to you. Can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Sure. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of StatSheet. One thing that might be a little bit unique is I was actually in the venture capital business for about 13 and a half years before coming into the operating side. So StatSheet's actually a company that I helped seed finance a year ago and fell in love with the people and the technology and joined full time.
And what brought about this change?
Really just I'm convinced that they're onto something special. I think that automated content is the way of the future, and I think StatSheet is pioneering that technology.
Can you tell us a bit more about StatSheet?
Sure. And first thing I should say is we've actually changed the name of our company to Automated Insights. We changed the name just last week, so there's really you guys wouldn't have known. We're going to keep the StatSheet brand for sports, so all of our sports apps will still be under StatSheet. But at Automated Insights, what we've got is a technology platform that transforms raw data into compelling narrative content. So we turn data into articles, summaries, headlines, and then we also turn that data into visual displays. So think charts, tables, graphs, as well as interactive applications. And those can be mobile, they can be social, Twitter, Facebook, etc. So it's an automated publishing platform. We sit on over 2 billion statistics in the world of sports. And we turn those statistics as well as a live data feed into compelling sports content. And I think what's unique about us is the breadth and quality of our coverage. We launched for college basketball, I guess it was last November, and we turned up 345 sites. So we have a site for every Division I college basketball program in the country. And I think that's pretty unique. We're able to cover every team, every game. We do game previews, game recaps, a lot of proprietary metrics and analysis.
So you first started off with analyzing and aggregating information for sports, and then you went to the next level, to the meta level, and now you're offering this solution for a wider range.
That's correct. We now have the StatSheet Sports Network's a consumer offering, and we are all diehard sports fans. So what we did is put ourselves in the position of fans, and we want to generate the content that we want to receive as fans. And our overarching goal is, we want to create smarter, more passionate fans. That's what it's all about.
So what was the spark that led to the creation of StatSheet?
Well, I met Robbie Allen, who's our CEO and founder. I guess it was last March, about a year and a half ago. He's a brilliant technologist. He was actually the youngest ever distinguished engineer at Cisco. I think he's still to this day the first person ever to go from intern to distinguished engineer at Cisco. He's written about 10 to 12 books on software development for O'Reilly and is a double degree holder from MIT. So he's about as smart as they come.
Definitely.
And when I met him, it was back when I was, in my venture capital role. And he came to me with the idea where he said he thought he could automate sports content. And I told him that if he could do that, that was a very, very big idea. Obviously, sports is a huge passion of many, many people, so it's a large audience. And there are so many teams out there, especially as you start to move out of the professional ranks. You get down to the collegiate level where there's 345, say, college basketball teams in Division I. There's 245 college football programs. It can start to be very difficult for traditional journalists to cover each and every game. Sure, they can cover, Duke and Carolina or Ohio State, Michigan basketball, but the smaller programs become very difficult to cover. With our approach, we can provide the same high-quality coverage to any school, any program, no matter how large or how small. And I think what gets really exciting is then we even have the ability to go down to the next level. If we can get the data, we could cover high school sports. We could cover grade school sports. Our only input is data, and we turn that data into comprehensive coverage.
Can you share with us a bit the feedback that I expect your app received from NFL or NBA or I don't know the basketball league,
Sure.
in high
Sure. Well,
school?
so far we've just launched for college basketball and for Major League Baseball, and there the apps or the feedback's been terrific. I think fans love the content. It's differentiated. There's a lot of proprietary analysis. One of the things we do that's very different, we literally provide an individual player grade for every player for every game. And analytically, that's not that easy to do. You think about a sport like baseball, players are brought in to accomplish different tasks in the game. And we take that all into consideration. And we put it all on a grading scale that I think consumers can understand. We put it on the traditional US academic grading scale. So 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 90 is a B, 70 to 80 is a C, etc. And so for every player, for every game, we can give those grades. And we've gotten terrific feedback there. And not only can we do it for the individual game, but we can do it over the course of a season. And I think fans, we've gotten a lot of good feedback on our player rankings and our team power rankings at both the college basketball and for our Major League Baseball offering. You mentioned the NFL. The NFL coverage is going to be launching in just a couple weeks. So we're excited about that. We'll be launching a site for every NFL team and also for every college football team in the country. So by, in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we'll be turning up another 300 sites or so.
That's why we awarded you the most promising. We knew and we thought that you are going this way towards NFL, NBA, NHL probably.
Yeah.
Another question also on this topic. Has your app been used on the first draft or for the first draft in any of the national leagues? Do you have that information or?
Well, we do know that a number of traditional journalists and teams that use our application. In particular, in college basketball, our data is very robust. As I think I mentioned, we have over 2 billion statistics. And we make those statistics available to the everyday fan, as well as the sport professionals. We've got some great tools. We have a compare function where you can go in, compare any player historically, compare teams historically. And we get a lot of good feedback from professional teams, collegiate teams, and fans, all going in and using the data. I think it's timely with the movie Moneyball coming out next week. There's a lot of people who recognize the power of data to make better sports decisions. And the way that we're able to present the data and make it interactive and accessible to others, I think, is a real strong point of ours.
After Robbie Adams came to you and asked and told you about StatSheet and his idea for this app, what was the next step, the first steps you undertook to create this app?
Yeah, well, it's a lot of development work, and one of the first pieces was actually aggregating all the data and normalizing all the data. And from there, where I think we're really doing some pioneering work is an automated publishing platform that automatically transforms that data into the long-form narrative. And that's what's very difficult. What we like to say is we use technology to automate knowledge and insight. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons we changed the name of the company to Automated Insights. I think it better describes what we do. But there was a lot of technology to be built, and a lot of, even though we don't have writers per se, what we do have, we have software developers, and we need to conceive of the stories and different narrative arcs, and we need to figure out how to put each game in the appropriate context. So a lot of work behind the scenes. The nice thing is, once we've built that platform, I hate to keep saying this, but I think it is pretty unique. Once it's built, our only input is the data. And from the data, then we generate the content. And so we're right now, we have 12 people in the company, and we're generating between 10 and 20,000 original articles every month. And that number will go up pretty dramatically when we launch our football coverage. So the scale potential of our technology and our applications are pretty exciting.
Considering your experience as a venture capitalist and the last few months that you spent at StatSheet, can you share with us some tips of the trade for launching a new app?
Sure. No, it's a great question. And I think I do have a rather unique perspective having come from the venture side of the business. I think first and foremost is never lose sight of the user. Put yourself in the user's perspective. I think a lot of companies, they build for the sake of building, and that's dangerous. Even the best technology needs to meet a consumer need. And what we saw was an underserved series of niches. As I mentioned with college basketball, there are a lot of schools out there that just can't get the quality coverage that they deserve. It's just too expensive. I think high school sports would be probably the best example of that. In the United States, there's tremendous interest in high school sports coverage, but it's very difficult to cost effectively generate. So, my advice would always be for technology companies, keep the user in mind, know what you're trying to build, and build to that need. So our mantra at StatSheet is we want to develop and help fuel smarter, more passionate fans. Everything we do has to kind of fit that lens. So we want the content to be unique. We want it to be insightful. And if we can do that, I think people will like the content. And if they consume the content, then we win as a company.
Okay, so basically find the user need and respond it as best as you can.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, satisfy.
And I guess the other advice I'd give is to iterate. Get the application out there so that people can see it, and then you can see what your users like and what they dislike. That's been a fantastic experience for us.
Okay, you also said, you mentioned that StatSheet is going towards NFL. Other plans other than NFL, which other leagues are you targeting in the near, mid, and long term?
Yeah, in the near term, it's NFL is the next sport we're going to turn on, and with that, shortly after will come our college football coverage, which I think I mentioned will be turning up a site for all 245 schools. And then we have decisions to make as a company, fun ones. But we're wrestling with, do we go into hockey next? Soccer and cricket are sports that we're looking at. Sports like tennis, golf. I think our technology works very, very well for any sport. There's some like baseball where there's more traditional statistics, but there's some great work being done in sports like soccer to try to bring that level of insight and analysis to soccer. So it's, the fun part of the job is trying to stay abreast of all these developments sport by sport and figure out where to move next. And the other thing I should say is we're looking at things beyond sports, whether or not it's finance, real estate, or even business-to-business applications. Again, what we can do is turn data into insight, and we want to look for as many ways to leverage that technology as possible.
Okay. Can you share with us which web apps do you yourself use?
Sure. The one I use the most by far, I'd say, would be Pandora.
Okay.
There are a lot of startups nipping at their heels, but once you get set on Pandora and you train it to your stations, I think it's a fantastic application. I think Tim Westergren's done a great job there. Another one I just started using is Hipmunk.
Yes.
I don't know if many of your users are aware of it, but I love the user interface for travel. One of the big shocks for me going from a large venture capital firm to a small startup was, I now have to do all my own travel bookings, and a site like Hipmunk makes that less painful, I'll say.
Yeah, the fact that they integrated a few months ago also the possibility of booking hotels is also a plus. It's a nice website, I know it. I'm pretty familiar with it.
I think they did a good job. I use it more on flights. For hotels, I'd probably go Priceline, but I think those are both terrific web applications.
Yep, indeed. Anybody you or your company would like to thank for helping you win this award?
Great question. I think our users, they're the most important. So we certainly want to thank everyone who uses the StatSheet Sports Network. And if you haven't tried it yet, I encourage you to do so.
Okay. Any questions you have for AppAppeal or the AppAppeal team?
I appreciate that. No, I think you guys do a great job. We, more than anything, appreciate the recognition and look forward to staying in close touch, keeping you abreast of all that we're developing.
Well, thank you very much for that. And thank you for this interview. I hope to hear more from you in the near future, and we wish you all the best and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Okay, have a nice day.
You too.